Hello, hello. Wednesday already. When we got up this morning, we had to have a debate as to what day of the week it is. Hi, Babsy. Hi, Rachel. Thank you for joining me. So, how is everybody? It is Wednesday. Have you chosen who's in your little bubble now? Now we've allowed to join another household. Exciting. So, right. I am working with Beautiful Friendship and Very Versailles today. So, I have just taken the wording from Very Versailles and the rest of the stamps I'm using are from Beautiful Friendship. And I have the lovely bright combination of Melon Mambo, Coastal Cabana and Gorgeous Grape. So that's a slightly wild mix. So let's see what's going to happen. So I'm going to do a one sheet wonder, and if it goes to plan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm going to create 7 cards from this. So is anyone crafting along with me? Essentially that's what I'll need to know, because I'll need to make sure measurements and things are done as I cut paper. So it's whether you're just having a little watch or you're going to be crafting along. Now some of these colours I might do in a second generation because they are quite bright. This could be very dangerous. Far too dangerous when you're right-handed to have the inks on the right-hand side. So as I'm right-handed, I'm going to have my inks on the left-hand side and see. Oh, well, my Coastal Cabana appears to have got some bits in it. Just getting bits off what they are. Odd. Anyway. Now I've got inky fingers already before I've started. Pull that one out. So I'm going to, oh, I know what I was going to do, because I was doing a stamping off. I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of paper, because essentially when I'm stamping off, if I stamp off on, that's a bit creased, I'm not going to use that bit. Going to, oh no, that's got 2 things on 2 sides. Oh, that's typical, isn't it? Not got a scrap piece. Oh, there might be one there. Just find if there we go. We'll use that. If I'm stamping off, if I stamp off onto a separate piece of paper, I generally find then I've got a little background to use for something else, for a sentiment or something like that. So we shall see. So I'm going to start with the words, and actually that's not a good way to hold that if you're testing my inks on that way round, but it may not work. So I'm going to put the words across. So that's kind of my biggest stamp. Hi Ali. Hope you're well. Kind of trying to think about how I'm potentially going to cut my paper up, but equally trying not to think about that as well, if that makes sense. So that's the words from Very Versailles. I do think they do make a lovely little background. So then I'm going to use the kind of hydrangea sort of colour, polymer stamp. This is from Beautiful Friendship, which is a distinctive stamp. So that I'll go into my, oh my god, I wish I knew how they made stamps. Oops daisy. Because you can see that there's an area on those stamps. Fascinates me. That process is just fascinating. Anyway. So I'm going to do a little, I'm going to go, so normally when I do One Sheet Wonders, personally, I leave gaps for sentiments, but because I'm going to cut this up in a slightly different way to create 7 cards, I'm not going to do that. But that's amazing, I think, how that happens. So as I say, just using the 3 colours, the Melon Mambo, Gorgeous Grape, and Coastal Cabana. See again. You see those areas where it's dark, it takes more ink. Amazing. Some clever people in this world, isn't there? Never told you at school that you could design stamps, did they? So I'm going to do, these are all I'm doing in first generation. So when I go in with the next layer, I might well do second generation and use Stamping Off. I'll take one off the edge there, one off the edge there. I'll use Karen's brilliant phrase from when we were crafting with her on Sunday, when she said, oh, it looked like a hot mess to start with. I'm like, yes, you're right. You start doing a One Sheet Wonder, you get to a point where you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? And what I find amazing about One Sheet Wonders is how different they look when you cut them up. So I'm hoping, because I'm going to be cutting this up in completely different ways than I normally do. I mean, literally, I normally make 4 cards. So again, I will credit Karen Spreckley for opening up the possibilities of cutting a bit of paper up in a different way. But that just shows you when we're crafting and that we can be guilty of kind of getting in too much into a routine. So I think with this, I'm going to do this flower in probably, let's see how second generation looks. So yeah, that's off screen, but there. So that's first generation and that's second. So it just goes a little bit paler. I can probably, on a photopolymer, yeah, I can get a 3rd one. I don't think I'll get a 4th one. Just about. Kind of got a 4th one out there, but I think I'm going to go with that second generation. So I do find photopolymers do pick up the colour, so you can get more generations out of a photopolymer than you perhaps could if you were using a rubber stamp. But it also does mean that the photopolymers do end up an interesting shade. But as long as you clean them really well, it won't affect. So before you use a photopolymer stamp, it's always advisable to do a test stamp if you have used it previously, because sometimes the colours can grip. And you'll generally see a photopolymer stamp where, particularly if it's something that's got multiple layers, I don't know how do they make that decision? How do they decide what stamp sets are going to be photopolymers and what aren't? So in Beautiful Friendship, we also get this little kind of, I'm going to call it a wisteria. It looks like very similar, which again I'm going to do in a, I'm going to do that second generation. I'm just going to do that slightly darker. Hopefully nobody's going to disagree with me with the flower. Could be something else. People think it's something else, or we're going wisteria. We'll go just with wisteria. Our wistaria's gone now. Well, the wisteria is still there, but the flowers have gone. Very clearly the plant is still there. So either I'm not getting notifications or you're all being very quiet. Is anyone creating along with me? Not so important while we're creating a one sheet wonder, but when I start cutting it up, oh, where to? The other thing is always knowing when to stop. That gorgeous grape is quite strong, which do I want to put more into those little... That's what I know what I do need to do. There is a little centre for the flowers, so I'm just going to pop that little centre into those. It's like a funny little T shape, just to fill that in. Just to be correct. Now, do I want any more? It's actually harder than I thought to stick to 3 colours. I might do... Let's give that a good clean. A few of the hydrangea flower on in Coastal Cabana and just going to dangle them off the edges in a few places. I just feel I've got a few naked areas. We can't have a naked bit of card, can we? Might get very uncomfortable. Has anyone got any brilliant recommendations for Netflix? We currently don't have our aerial connected on our TV, so it's all Netflix and Amazon Prime. Oh, Amazon Prime. Got a little Amazon Prime recommendation. I might do, rather like these, I might do some of those in the gorgeous grape. Just, oh, maybe in a second generation. So we have watched many things. I think it's always good to think of, or get recommendations of what other people have enjoyed. So if you do have anything, do let me know. We have Amazon Prime, we have Netflix. We have got Disney Plus, but David doesn't approve of that. We've only got that because his son paid for it for his wife. And I do like a Pixar film. Ooh, David's going to his brother's tomorrow. Might be able to sit and watch a little Pixar. Inside Out, one of my favourites. Right, I think I better stop. Stop right there. Let's get these inks away before I put ink absolutely everywhere. And I don't think any of you are crafting along with me, so I will just whiz through how I'm going to cut this up. So this is on an A4 sheet of the shimmery white. I do just love that little shimmer in shimmery white. I just think it adds a little extra something to a card. So I am basically going to cut on the short edge. So in portrait, I'm basically going to cut that in half. Then on the long side at 14.9, I'm going to cut that in half again. And so that's going to be one card. What I'm going to do with this one, and we're going to have a little experiment. I've got the new gorgeous rainbow glimmer paper. So this one I'm diagonally cutting in half. So essentially I'm lining the 2 points up along my cutting rail, and that will make two different cards. Then this piece I'm going to cut at 7.5, cutting again at, not at 15, at 7.5, remembering that I've cut the first 7.5 off. So with any luck, this bit measures just shy of 14.9, so that's cool. We can work with that. And I'm going to cut off here a 3.5 centimetre strip. So 3.5 centimetres. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. That beats cutting it up into 4, doesn't it? How exciting is that? So what I'm going to do with one of these pieces, I'm going to cut it into 3. I think I'll cut this one in. So this, I'm going to have made this really difficult for myself, aren't I? 10.5, oh God, 10.5 divided by 3 is 3 point something silly, isn't it? Didn't make that easy for myself, did I? I didn't think of that beforehand. There's a word to the wise. Think about your measurements before you do that. So 3.5. Oh, actually, that's not so bad, is it? Hopefully I'm right. 3.5, 7, 10.5. Yay. I did make that easy for myself. Brilliant. Glad nobody felt they needed... Hopefully nobody felt they needed to step in and help me with my mathematical dopiness. And then, just because I like it, I'm going to cut a corner off the two. So I want to keep these in the same order, and the two outer ones I'm going to cut the bottom corner off. So using the trio punch, just cut a couple of little corners off, and then that's going to make the front of another card. So then, right. So if you look at this paper, it's stunning, but it does kind of go, oh my God, how am I going to use this? Now, I think that is going to look beautiful. So all I'm going to do is cut 2 0.5 centimetre strips from my glimmer paper. Do I need 2 or... Oh, actually, I want 1 for each of my diagonals. I'm going to do 4. Just think these are... I think, oh, there's so many things. So I don't think this is a paper that you would necessarily... Oh, that doesn't look like I cut that very straight. Oh, I didn't. Sorry, doing my usual not paying attention. Let's just make that piece straight. So when you're using a trimmer, do make sure that it's set to straight before you trim, because when you're cutting a 0.5 centimetre strip, it does matter. Although it looks like one of those is slightly bigger than 0.5, but anyway, as long as it is approximately 0.5. So hopefully what you can do is, if you want to recreate these, is go back into the video and pick up all the measurements. But already, look how different that looks in a strip. But this is just those colours that I picked out. Didn't mean to do that, technically. I just suddenly thought, oh, rainbow glimmer paper. Exciting. Now my problem is, now hopefully, see on my phone I don't get any comments. And on my tablet I can only see a few, because really I'm hoping that you're going to help me pick what colour. Oh, lovely, you are lovely. Thank you, Rachel. So, oh, that's quite nice on Coastal Cabana. See, that's going that is going to go with any of the papers. Actually, that's not going to. The triangle bit doesn't need to go with this. It's these bits that do. So if we just run with those. Colour vote. Coastal Cabana. Mambo Melody. That's not what that colour's called at all. What's that colour called? I'm going bananas. Melon Mambo. Good Lord. Mango Melody's yellow. Or a shade of yellow. Or onto Gorgeous Grape. Just going to give you a few moments to see what you think. Grape. Any advance on grape? It's going to be grape. See, nobody else is paying attention, Rachel. You have your wish. Grape it is. So essentially, give anybody else a few minutes. Essentially, if you're doing these sort of projects at home, you can literally make your own decisions as to what card backing you want to use. But we're going with Rachel and the grape. This rainbow glimmer paper. Just beautiful. So, there we go. I've lost my card bases. There they are. Oh, one day I'm gonna get this right. One day. So essentially what I want to do is have a piece that is slightly wider than those pieces, and of course, because I've been chatting away, forgot my measurements. So I've got a border on that and a border on that. So the first ones I'm going to make up are the triangles. So essentially these fit bang on perfectly onto a card base. And then what I think we can do, look, let's add a bit of bling. So actually I might do this card this way up. So actually what I'm going to do, now because that I want to glue the card base and I want to get it accurately positioned, I am going to use wet glue. Problem if you use tape is it generally you don't get any wriggle room. So what this will give me is a little bit of ability to place that and then wriggle it to make sure it fits exactly. Although looking at my card base isn't exactly. slightly squiffy on my card base for some reason. A bit of correctional operation there. So there is the piece of One Sheet Wonder, and then all I need to do, a little bit of glue along there, and then, so the chances, what I want to try and avoid is getting too much of the yellow, but I think that green is going to be better than getting too much of the yellow, purely on the basis that there isn't any yellow in the card. So, but look, adds a real bit of bling to that. And then I think all we need is, we might go birthdays are the best days, and add a little bit of bling. So because the I haven't got what colour to do the greeting on this one. Where I use Gorgeous Grape as the background card, I would very much then use Gorgeous Grape ink. Let's get that to sit more evenly. Just going to hold my finger on there for a minute. But I might on this one go with Melon Mambo. Now I've got his name right. Don't know why an ink would be male. No reason whatsoever. Make sure that stamp's okie dokie. So tap, tap, tap. Ink up our stamp. And then I'm kind of going to place it in the middle there. And then I think, personally, all that needs is a few little embellishments. Jobs are good, and all we need to do is cut that off at the top and that off at the bottom. And obviously we keep those little bits because you never know. There will be a point that they'll probably get chucked away. But I think those colours just look gorgeous, and that's just adding a little bit of bling. So there we go, card numero uno. Then, let's use this one. So this is one, doing the same sort of idea. I think I'll use it on a white background. Now with any luck, you see, there we go, because I got my cutting pretty right. And again, we're just going to put a strip of that. I might just let a little bit more of the green onto that one. So I'm going to put a strip of that either side. So again, because I want to be able to position, I'm just going to use wet glue because that gives me a little bit of wriggle room. So always remembering, if you need a bit of positioning flexibility, don't think it matters which way up that goes. Just going to position that around there. Just want to make sure it's straight and in the middle, which it is there. And again, just popping a little run of glue down there. Might have come a bit wide with that bit. Whoops, too close with that bit. Easy when you know how. Oh, I've got bits of, oh, that's my bits that I did too short. So I'm going to let a little bit more of that kind of greeny in. I'm just going to carry that. So just add that. Now the question is, do I want that bit the same way up or a different way up? I think visually for me, having it the same is going to be better. But obviously you have the option to do it either way up. because it just, oh, it just adds a beautiful dimension. Although, for some reason, I've got mucky fingerprints on that card base. Wonder how I managed that. Where's my... Another little trick sand eraser. Just bought mine on Amazon. Takes a very fine layer of card off, so you may not actually be able to see those fingerprints, but I can. Might need to do that a little bit more. So yeah, there we go. I'm just going to again turn the card over, cut, cut, cut and cut. So again, keeping those little bits. So we're definitely going to have a kind of granny apple green project for that, aren't we? I can see something coming along that's going to use those bits. Just take the... They'll say this is a sand eraser. I think it came in a pack of 3 because it just takes that the top of the paper off to get rid of that. I think I might do the greeting in the Manon. I'm having trouble with my words. Mind you, not that's anything unusual, is it? Anybody that watches me regularly probably is amazed if I get my words right for the whole thing. I'm going to go into my top, middle, or... So I'm thinking I might just put some embellishments on that. So I'm gonna put the greeting kind of there. So if I'm going top, middle or bottom, I've kind of gone between. There. So number 2. Then in essence we get another one from this I have my glasses on when I cut some of these card bases. Bone folder just really kind of gets that fold in well. So this is a portrait card. I think I'm going to put that way around. Greeting in the top there, I think. So again, need a bit of wriggle room. Glue, making sure you keep your arm out of the glue as you go around. And then just drop it on the floor. And you'll be fine. I mean, and what happens? Every time you've got a piece of bread that you've jammed or toast that you've jammed, which way up does it fall? Which way up did that fall? Glue side down, of course. Sod's law dictated that was going to happen. But that's fine. Not too much on the floor. So again, I'm going to bring that green. So again, I need to be careful I don't get too far into the granny apple on that green, but that's not into the yellow. So again, just having a little bit of bling. Get the ink pad out of the way so that sticks. So then I might do a greeting in Coastal Cabana. What other greetings have we got in that set? I love our beautiful friendship. So very happy to know you. Big congratulations. I might do so happy to know you. Oh, for some reason that's just reminded me I need to post a birthday card. Finding the post a little bit slow at the moment, which I completely understand, but it does mean you have to think in advance of. So normally, you know, I'd post a card a couple of days before a birthday and post it first class, but I think at the moment you do kind of need, I don't know if everybody's finding that or whether it's just my post office. Not blaming them, just having to build it into my schedule. I'm sure they've been under a lot of pressure, getting a lot of mail out. I'm sure we've all been sending, I've certainly been sending a lot more cards. Well, plus the fact I'm about to start, well, I'm not going to put them all in the post at once. I've got to make kind of 60 cards for my customers in my full-time job. So when they go in the post, our little postman's going to be very busy, isn't he? So there we go, more little bits. So I think they just need a bit of bling, so I might choose my bling afterwards. So then I need to remind myself what this measures. So that measures 10.5 by 7.5. So for the 3, I think I want 8.5. No, I don't. I want 8. I think we'll do 8 and 11. I think. Let's see how that works out. Because essentially what I'm going to do is place 1, 2, 3. So, oh, I've not given myself a lot of wriggle room. So I'll place the 2 outer ones and then the middle one for that one. This needs a piece. Oh, I think actually I might show a little bit more of the so I am going to do that 8.5 by 11.5. So you'll see the difference. By making it a centimetre bigger, it gives a much bigger border. So I've given a really small border on that one, bigger border on that one. Great choice, Rachel, with going gorgeous grape with the paper. So again, the glue's out, so I'm sticking with my glue, get me a little bit of wriggle room. I love the positioning of that flower. And this, I'm probably going to seat pretty centrally and then put, oh right, okay, yes, no, that flat, that definitely needs to go that way. So we're going to maybe put a sentiment over the top. I could lift it higher there and do, no, I think that's making it a little too tight. So I'm going to pop that one in the middle and then we'll create something over the top. Or, who's to say, use your snail the right way up, that we even need a sentiment. We could choose on this card to pop a little sentiment on the inside. Let's get that the right way up as the flower is perfectly positioned. Perfect, so there we go, number 4. I think we're up to number 4. So this is number 5. So again, I really need wriggle room on this one. So a little bit of glue. And I really don't have a lot to play with the border. So I'm really making sure that it's over. Otherwise, I won't have enough space to fit them all in. So as I say, I corner cut the 2 outer ones. just because I can. There we go, put the edge one on, and then we will do the middle one. So I think this definitely needs the wriggle room, so we want to keep it in the same order that we had it in. So just a teeny weeny little gap there, and that's the nice thing about choosing the grape. It's a nice dark colour, so just need to make sure kind of top and bottom that we're pretty much lined up. I mean, not that anybody that receives a card is going to go, oh, they're a millimetre out on XYZ. Now, that's it, that doesn't... So that gives me a little bit more room.
Oh, hello Rudolph, it's David Messon.
I'm going to find my gorgeous grape.
Oh, very nice. Well, funny enough, yes.
So before I stick that down, I'm going to put the
Marie got furloughed about a week after we got back from
greeting there.
Devon.
Beautiful.
So
Lid back on ink so we don't go anywhere.
hello Lucy. You don't got a house full, you haven't got 20 people in the garden, have you?
Again, I'm going to use the glue because I need that little bit of...
We're good.
We're having a very wriggle roomy day today, aren't we?
About a week after we got back from
So then I'm going to place that halfway between my greeting, halfway across the card. There we go. Are we up to number 5? That's numero 5. It would help if I knew my numbers in any other language, wouldn't it? Then I've got these 2 bits left. Let's have a look. Well, how does that...
remotely. So I've got furloughed, Marie's got furloughed, so we've been ordering lots of stuff. We've been trying to...
So that would be quite... Actually, I might just do gorgeous grape
I think just to keep
either side, and then potentially that would have a sentiment. So I'm going to cut a ½ centimetre strip again.
it, or is it you've embraced it?
So ½ centimetre each side. So this will just show you the difference between using a plain card and that gorgeous glimmer
Oh, you got this as well, did you, Rudolph? I got
paper. Hopefully you can't hear my husband's very loud conversation, and I do apologise if people are commenting and they're not coming up. It's probably a Facebook glitch again, but I will respond to any comments when I come off. Obviously if you are watching on replay, then please do say hi as well. You do need to catch me live to be part of a colour decision, but perhaps comment whether you think we made the right decision or whether you would have personally chosen a different base colour, because that's the joy of crafting. We can all choose colours that we prefer. And the Coastal Cabana is not a colour that I've used an awful lot actually. So again, a little thin line of glue, place that border. Again, we'll just leave it so that we cut a top and a bottom. It's easier than cutting it. Oops, a bit too much.
Is that just for essential for key workers, or is that all of them?
So again, just pop that either side, so it's just a very thin bit of glue, and then just butting it right up to the edge. I mean, obviously you could cut a much bigger piece of card, but we're being more frugal by cutting little 1 centimetre strips. Turn the card round, snip snip. I will throw these away. I really don't think I'd find anything that I would use those little tiny bits before, but with the glimmer paper it's early days, so I'm going to see. So that, I think later I might pop a little sentiment on that somewhere. And then one last bit, which actually I think I might, because that's the exact size of that card, I'm going to layer it with a piece of gorgeous grape behind it. So that needs to be 14.4, so I'm taking half a centimetre off. 14.4, easy for me to say, 14.4 by 10 is the first half centimetre off. Again, I'm having a wriggle room day, so I'll keep my little bit of wriggle room by using the wet glue. I think it's just because I'm like, I'm enjoying making patterns in Tombow. Can you imagine me as a child? I don't think my parents ever let me have glue.
Yeah, it's not going to work. Well, I think
Pop that, and oh look, it's a good job I gave myself a bit of wriggle room. That went a bit awry there, so a little bit of wriggle room just to get that centrally placed. Get that stuck down. So then this I'm going to cut a full centimetre off, and that will, just whether I cut it all off on one side, yep, I will throw that in the bin, and cut a full centimetre off that side as well. Seeing that bit might be useful in something at some point. I've got huge envelopes of excess, so yeah. Oh, and that's, look how beautifully positioned that's ended up. I couldn't have done that if I tried. It's a wriggle room, pretty patterns in Tombow sort of day. And then wriggle that around. So there's a couple of them that still need a sentiment, but I will do that because that will involve cutting and or punching or something. So I'm not using a punch, not punching. I'm not punching anyone. So from that one sheet of One Sheet Wonder, which, to coin Karen's brilliant phrase, kind of did look a bit of a hot mess at one point, and I was like, oh, I don't like the colours. But look, oh my god, these are so gorgeous. Hopefully you can see, yeah, I think you can see all of these, I think, as I put them out. Oh, hold on. I'm trying to lay it out so they're all on the... Hopefully they are all in your vision. I just absolutely adore that paper, if I do say so myself. So there we go. We've managed to make 7 cards from a single A4 sheet of One Sheet Wonder. So amazing. So I'm really pleased with those. Hopefully you have enjoyed those. As I say, if you do want to recreate, then hopefully I covered most of those measurements and you get the basis of how to recreate that yourself. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. As I say, if you are on replay, then do please say hi. And I will check for any comments because I don't seem to have had very many. But I mean, that's not a problem. If you were having a quiet moment and watching, that's absolutely brilliant. I really do appreciate it. So, oh, just tilt that slightly, then you get a slightly better view of the card. So there you go. I'm really pleased with those. So some of these are on very vanilla thick cardstock and some are on white, so you can see that slight difference. But I do think with the shimmer paper, it goes with either. Where I've used it with the very vanilla, it seems to pick up more of a very vanilla finish, but where I've used it on white, it picks up the white. So perfect. And then that gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous rainbow glimmer paper that I nearly didn't order. I am so glad that I did. That's going to get used a lot. So anyway, thank you very much for spending part of your evening with me, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye.